Right. Welcome. Welcome back to the live stream for about add types to the enquirer library, and this is part 6 of this series of this live stream. So let's get into it. Let's see. Okay. So here we are. Where that's where where we left off last time is that after we after we add the list, we make a little bit of changes and then realize the enquirer over here. You can see that the type is not assignable. It's fell over here because the constructor type is got messed up a little bit, and so as this function. So we will fix this right now. So the thing is we need to fix this part. Right. So let's take a look at the actual code first. Okay. So this is the actual code, and the register function is here. So let's first fix, take a look at if this is correct. Well, this is what we got initially from here. So let's see. So this is extending the event. This is the internal event emitter. So it's first is actually not this guy per se. This is this internal class. It extend the event emitter. So we were saying, okay, it is the same as this event emitter, so that we extend from it. That's kind of all right. All right. So this guy internally just emit event emitter inside that namespace. So if we got this guy here, we see that event emitter which corresponding to this. And since there is just a empty extension, we can just use the event emitter. That's no problem. So now let's take a look. Over here, this the type in the description saying this is a string. But if you look at the first line, is actually not. Right, so it actually accept a this. Right, so this is good. So this accept a record of key, and then if it does that, then it would just register each of them, which is described over here. And then this return this. That's good. So we will keep that. So from the function, from this overload looks fine. This functional, this overload looks fine. So now the question is this type, right? So the problem is that the prompt class, we were modeled after the actual prompt class, which has all of these functions, including this format. The problem we have here is some of those are incompatible in the subclass, and also as we have seen, other case that doesn't work is, for example, the submit. In the base class, let's take a look at the base class. At the prompt, in this submit, hold on a second, this submit is actually a sync. this submit function is actually an async. So actually, this one is incorrect. Let me see. Am I looking at the right class? This is the prompt class. That's what we're looking at. Did we mix up something? Okay, seems like that was a mistake. This is let's fix that. This is a promise and not returning anything. This is just returning. So this return is a promise void. Right. So that solve one of the problem. Right. But that doesn't work on these two. The format is still incompatible. So over here, the question, this question format, let's see. Option format is incompatible. One is this this prompt value string, return any, is not assignable. Prompt value string. So this T is a problem. Let's see if we can fix that. So this is the string prompt. Oh, over here it doesn't describe the object. So the question is over here. This is cast as string. So this is cast as a question of string. While the base class is expecting a promise of something which have not been defined. So one of the things we can do is to remove this default value and enforce all of the subclass to clearly define what kind of type that question is working on. But of course, that won't be nice because the prompt itself will not know, and that means, say for example, if this input prompt, then what's the value? Can it is a string, and it can also be a number, right? So it can specify all those. So removing or enforcing that might not be a good idea. Might not be a good idea. So the issue, what we have here, how are we going to solve this? This is a prompt value. Putting a type over here doesn't help. The type of the value, it really need to be inferred. because the bottom line of all this is the base class, I believe, is having too many things. It's not really a base class. Again, it's a class that with provide a bunch of default settings uh, where is is useful for the subclasses, but not necessarily coherent. This is what should we do here? Right, because the issue is if I put in input, this will still fail. If I put in string prompts, it will also fail. The only thing is if I put in prompt, hold on a second. That might be caused by the bug that we've seen. This prompt is okay. String prompt is not. Yep. Right. So it's only accepting the base prompt. So this signature over here is only accepting the base prompt, not its subclasses. Did we do this incorrectly? Maybe we did, because this grabbed the base type. Let's see what happens if we make it. So in this case, we only need the base. And this string prompt wouldn't work. It should be invariant. Let's see. It should be, the input should be allowed to be the invariant, so it should able to take all the subclass. So the question is why? Okay, there's an undefined. So the base class, the constructor over here. Allow it to be optional. But if I remove it, it's still not okay. So we are giving something else. A T is not assignable to type S, and then the answer is not assignable to type string. It's the invariant issue. Say, let's see how can I fix. What I originally thinking of doing is looking at the usage. This need to be a instance of the prompt type. And then when it actually start asking, it will instantiate it with this option from the question that that was passed in. And then after it get the prompt, it have a state, it have a enquire property, it have this on function, and this emit function. Value input and submit and run. So that's all it really cares. So I could extract a base class or essentially interface that satisfy this and make sure that there is a base prompt implementing this interface. So, and all of the other prompts are inherited from the base prompt. Right. But what I feel like right now, after looking at this, it really feel like that I can do something else over here. Work. Let me try to describe. Let me see how am I going to describe what I try to say. Well, for the first case, for this case, let's ignore this one later. This one is just built on top of this case. So we need to have, I need the input to be some class that inherit from prompt. Which I try to describe over here. And this is the T, this return, this has to be extends prompt. So supposingly this should work. But this right now, this is the prompt, and prompt value are incompatible because the format is not compatible. One is prompt value, one is string, and all that. Why is that? Because over here I force it to be prompt string. So the question of type string, it get this format, and this is type string. If I mark this as any, what do I get? The result is, look at the next one, out any, and then it will look at the next one, validate. quarter. And supposed to, because this is a prompt type, so it's supposed to be working. Why it is not working? Why it is not working? Be because here. Nope. Let's get a prompt answer. Value type answer. Hold on a second. Where did I get this? Let's just try to rewind and see. No other place that mention it. That's it. So mention it. No, I thought we would type answer. Well, the number. Hold on, this is right now. This is saying the initial function. Format is incompatible. Let's undo this first. And let's see if we can formulate this a little bit better. As for string prompt, definitely is looking for string. So the question, this the type is a string, and then the format, all those getting a string is fine. Right, that's what we are expecting. The issue is here. What if, because now this, we just need to try it out a little bit. And then this prompt will also be type T. This is correct. And then let's loosen this type. Instead of saying that constructor T equals to new What did I do? Take a look. This is param. We don't need this whole thing. Then just in any array. And that wouldn't solve the problem. The question is where do I get this prompt answer? This probably, I'm guessing TypeScript is just trying to resolve the type from its dictionary, and then while I specified is a prompt value is go back and look up the answer because they are the same type. So since with that, the answer is a better name, I'm going to replace this or this to answer. And then so that is this make more sense. I'm a little bit I'm confused. What is the best way to handle this? Don't really care about the type in here. That fixed the problem because this is just a registration part, right? I don't know what's the default type. What's the type that accept by the prompt, and even that type doesn't know, right? It's you only knows that when you're using it. So I think that's why the type itself is okay. It's just that how I'm using it, I declare I'm using it here, that's causing the problem. Yep, I think that is why. So what I need to do is to mark this as any if I'm doing this correctly. A little bit funny. Oh yeah, that's fine. Okay. Okay. Yep. I think that's now that is correct because the prompt. Yep. Ah. Okay. One problem solved. Is one problem solved. Now the other problem is this result. Hmm? Yeah. So if I do that, this will fail because it's not compatible anymore. because over here, while it extends the string prompt, is not really extending the string prompt, because the in the string prompt it say the answer type is a string, but in this case the answer type is actually a string array. Right. So, but before that, let's make sure that all the other types are fine. All right. All other things are fine. So let's check that in. Right. To adjust the type for the function. So now we will try to solve this problem, and this is a big one, right? Because the inheritance is actually not correct. It's violating list of substitution. Right. So what we need to do is to rewind that and saying that this is a string array. And then is adding that into the answer type. So it can be a string array. Right, so now question string list prompt. I've saved it. Question string. Oh, so let's rewind that. And yep, now it is string array. Because it's missing some of the other things. This initial, let's see. So the initial value in this case is actually a string, because it's not a list. It's just selecting the initial value. So now we get to some more problematic thing, because even if we describe it like this won't work, I believe. Right. And if we omit it, of course we can do that. Then this would be fine. So basically what this does is say where we get that as a base, but we ignore the initial property. Okay, so that passed the test for now. But things were getting pretty ugly over here. So I can do some refactoring now, or I can continue this. What I typically like to do in this case is just continue. This list is not being used because I want to gather all the data points that I can get before I do the factoring. because we still have some other class I need to handle, and that will make it the problem even bigger. But at the same time, it gives me more insight into how I should organize the whole thing. Right? I can, if I inherently know, how the code works, then I can just start refactoring it. But since I don't, um, I think it is a better way to keep going and then do a bigger refactoring, so that whenever I break something, the test and the TypeScript will able to tell me what if I break anything. Right. So let's keep going on text add type for list prompt. Okay, so let's do this. And for the new one, let's get some energy. Okay, so we have this assert, Mocha go away, go away. We have this support, so this will go away. The next tick is not being used. So we can now already see that. And then the select will be used as prompt select. I would just go ahead and rename it as select prompt to make it consistent. So take this away. This is select prompt, and then import get 3. Okay. So the select prompt, is it just a simple question, or I don't know. Let's just do the same trick here and get the select prompt so that I can get all this nice error to work with. Right. So that's this guy. And over here, go to select. This extends from array prompt. So if I change that, that should fix something. For some reason it does not. Let's see. Let's see why it does not. Because I know the array prompt has choices. But that's not right. That is an array prompt. Where's the constructor? Did I define the constructor? Seems like in the array when we are testing it, we never really define the constructor. Interesting. So let's take a look at it here. I do have array question. Oh, that's why. That's why. So let's fix this test by over here doing the same thing. So now all those errors shows up. So now we can add the constructor. And then the array prompt is accepting array question. There you go. So this also fixed that problem. So here is saying that it's actually also the choice also accept a promise that resolve to choice input array. Okay, and then for each choice input over here, it take in the choice and it can have a hint. And then now here is saying the prompt has a render choice. Let's see, the render choice. It show up in the multi-select and it show up in this select, but where is it defined? Oh, this is under test. There you go. Select. There you go. So you can see. So we can see it here. So now, let me make it to free tab. Although it is a little bit cramped, but it is easier to work with in this case. So in the middle tab, I want to see the actual select. That's where I'm editing over here. And then here, I want to look at the base class here. So this have the dispatch, and this is an async function. Man, this is an async function. And this is not. Yeah. These are a lot of things that I would do. I would clean up if I'm working on this library. So right now, let me just try to type the so await, it will do nothing. So it this dispatch is return void is nothing here. And then dispatch key dot name, so it will call any function and apply that and try to do a await, I don't know what's the return value of this, to be honest, because we don't know what kind of key it can put in. And this can be problematic. But I will restrict it, and let's say it is a void for now. Don't worry about it too much. Oh, and then over here there's a separator. So now this separator is a function. Right. This separator is a function. This comes from prompt. And this just called a base separator. Return the string. This is an async. And so this will be async. But this is not async. This will be just the string itself. Right. So theoretically, this based on the behavior, this is actually the type is actually like that. However, you can see that this is not compatible, and I think the library doesn't really think that it's a problem, and the user also, because this will return a promise, and since it is a promise, the code will use await, and this will only work if it uses await, because when it is an await, then this separator will be returned as is. But if you are using the promise syntax used then this will be a problem. This will crash. Unless we're saying this style.mute, this actually return a promise, then yes, right? But I don't know. And what we can do really right now here is just assuming that is the case. Right. So pointer, we already have this. And then this pointer, we already have it. How about this indicator? This indicator already have it. That's good. So this choice message, I don't think I've seen this before. So this is something new. This is a choice, assume, and then I is a number. And then what does this return? This return util.resolve, and it's not really a promise. It's just a function. If it's a function, they call a function and return. If not, return the value itself. So it's just that if this is a function, it returns itself. So let's see. Am I? Oh, sorry, looking at the wrong file. So this is just calling this, and if it is a string, and then, or if it is function, it will try to resolve it. So since by the name, I would guess this is returning a string. So this choice separator will return a string, and better, well, let's say string, because I was almost tempted to say it returned a string literal this, but you know, it's in this case likely it's better to do it like that, because we can change, right? The code can change to use a different separator. So the render choice is also something new. And then this is a render, I'm guessing is not returning anything. This is a function. It will call this function, which will at the end join together. So it is a string, as the name suggests. I'm just guessing it's a string array. Why this is, yeah, this render choice is a sync function. So now this warning is, well, it's marked as a string or a string already, and return a simple string. Yeah, or wait for all of the choices. This is definitely returning an. Oh no. Yeah, well, yeah, it's actually expect to return a single string. It's render the whole thing into a string. Okay. Format, definitely we've seen that, likely nothing need to be done there. Render also, yeah, it's not returning anything. The thing is here, what is the style? We haven't really deal with that, but this should be sufficient. Let's see. So that's fix the last problem, and this is saying the choice can have a disable. Okay, let's change. Fix the typo. So now this is getting quite long. So organize it a little bit. Let's do it like this. Disabled. Boolean. Okay, like this. Let me also fix. Okay, so now the key press. And pick this. So the key is really saying it also can have the name. Let's organize this a little bit. Name this function, and then it has a sequence. This is probably closer to the type, the code. That code are incomparable. Oh, the code is a string. Okay. So this fix this over here, and want to see if I change that, does it fix elsewhere? Because maybe I was just assuming the code is a number. All right. So we did improve that type. Add type for select prompt. So now you can see it's getting a little bit easier for now after the initial struggle to figure out the registered issue. So let's take a break. Let's take a break here now, and then I will continue this on in the next stream. And so far we have done way more than half, although there's still some, still 7, 8 file we need to convert. But those will be pretty similar. So the plan is going to finish all this in the next stream, and then we will able to start doing some refactoring and some more fun stuff and make it more useful, like the one that I show you in the last stream in the CLI builder, that you can infer and figure out the type as you are using it. So that's it for this stream, and hope you enjoyed it and hope you learned something, and then we will see you in the next one. All right, bye.